All right. So first, let's go ahead and start on YM. We're just gonna go back to actually let's start in NQ. We're gonna go over some trades that I took this week with the model. We're gonna start with this one over here first. On this NQ trade that I took. So go to the daily. What do we see the daily? Well, we have in ES taking out this low. Right. So I'm already assuming that we're probably gonna go these highs maybe. Or just draw towards those so I can frame daily expansion to these highs, right? When I look at the weekly candle as well, it gap lower first, right? But it opened low, has that small wick, right? I want to usually trade in that direction. So at this point, I'm aligning a weekly expansion candle to highs, right? With the previous week's high that we can draw towards. Because we're not going to take the previous week's low, we're going to go towards the previous week's high. You barely see any inside bars, rarely ever. When you look at the charts, we have one inside bar here, no inside bar, no inside bar, no inside bar, no inside bar. No, you know what I'm saying? Like you barely ever get an inside bar. So if we're not going to draw towards this low, we're going to go towards a high generally. When I look at the daily chart, what the previous day did, it's a bit ugly and weird. But you see how it opened low, expanded. I'm kind of viewing this day almost as like retracement, right? Because although it is a reversal candle, technically, where we can't displace over this high, well, look at the wick. We have a much shorter or much longer wick to the downside, kind of rejecting whatever PD rays are inside of this range, right? As you see here. So I also traded this. Actually, we're gonna go over this day too because I traded both of these days. Um, and yeah, we'll just go over both these days actually. So with that logic, just with the weekly candle going open low first, um, and I look at the daily profile here. Let me just play it out real quick. When I look at 6 a.m. here, look at the daily profile. So if you look at the wick is very large, right? Which we don't like to see. But I'm gonna teach you guys how to actually trade a candle like this, and this is gonna be in my course too. So essentially, if you want to fade a daily candle, the reason why this is a rule in general is because when you create this large move like this, there's not enough time in the day to really expand, right? There's not enough time. So if this opposing run happens early on in the day, right, we can revisit this high. And you need to adjust your targets, right? We can't be targeting way up here because this large wick, again, doesn't have enough time in the day to get up here. You need to adjust your target, right? It's not going to displace past this high. Was my target right here. And I think I traded the 15, yep, I traded the 15-minute time frame. So again, the low of the day is created in Asia session. So it's a bit weird, right? Very weird price action last couple of weeks, is it Trump or whatever or whatnot. Um, but the low of the day is created at a early in the day, right? So we have plenty of time to get up here, right? We can use volatility drivers. So what I can refer to is I can't refer to an hourly CSDA at this point, right? So if I can't refer to that, I'm going to use inverse fair value gaps generally. You see this inverse fair value gap? Close over it. We're just getting reaccumulation through here. I'm not sure if we had SMT here. Mm, No, I don't think so. We don't need it, but I was just checking. So at this point at 9:30, so I trade expansion candles away from the assumed low of the day on the 4 hour, right? So what do we have here? We have a fair value gap on the 4 hour time frame. So it's simple, right? Internal, this fair value gap to external up here. Daily open, low, high, and I don't care where it closes. I just want it to, trade into this high, right? What do we also notice about this? All right, we're forming a swing point, right? The market you can't reverse without a swing point, right? But what do we notice about this candle 3, right? No expansion in either of these candles. So whenever you see this, right, candle 4 like has to expand, right? If this is going to be a true reversal, that's going to chop like you see right here. Whoops. This little swing point. This candle has to expand here, like generally. That's how it's going to look. I can refer to a really good example on like um forgot the asset. It was like CL or something recently. Um Trying to find a pretty decent example for you guys. This is like not even relevant. You can kind of see it right here, right? Candle three, more swing point. Like there's no expansion. So if there's going to be a true reversal, then this next candles need to expand, right? So that's kind of how you see here. But majority of the time, we see that candle two or candle three expand usually. But here, right, if this is going to be the low of day, then I mean, obviously we're going to expand in this candle because of drivers. There's 930 driver in here. So it's just a swing point and a candle for expansion. That's kind of what I'm trading within. And my trade is aligned with what? Expansion candle, right? So if I go drop down to the lower time frame, if you have assumed low of day, you want to see 930 expand away. Let me get this a little bit further away, 15 or something. There. Right, so I'm gonna wait for 930 to pass here. Once I see 930 aggressively trade away from here, right, close above these opposing candles here, then I have a fractal model, right? I don't really trade the 1 minute too much, but in this case, we close literally right here, and we're already like, you know, it's going if it's gonna get here, it's gonna get there with speed, right? There's nothing to the left to reverse off of, nothing relevant, and they're gonna see how we fail to even reverse off this high. I'm gonna show you in the lower time frame here. Right, so what phase of price do we get after this 930 reversal and expansion to this high? We get consolidation, which is what? A continuation signature rate. I don't know if there's S&T here. There might have been. I don't really remember. 937, 937. Yeah, there was. There's like PD ray S&T or something right here, but that doesn't really matter. I'm really looking at this, right? You have a valid wick right here, getting closed over. Then this is my entry right here. Right, pretty simple into this high. Does that make sense? Right, so 930 expanding away validates this as the low of the day, and I can get on side with that, right? And then look what happens. I don't think we displace to this high necessarily. Probably come back into the range. That's very lackluster, right? We expect that. We expect the price to pretty much close at or around the daily open, which is right here, which is essentially what it does, right? I don't know where my thing went. Oh, I deleted it on accident. Whoops. I deleted my indicator. Okay, we're good now. Yeah, so if I show you, see how it closes the indecision candle, right? So, that was that day, that trade. Just simple internal, external, trading a 4 hour expansion candle, um, aligned with the or with the fractal model, right? If I go to the next day with that logic, like I said, if I just you can even like draw out this wick pretty much, right? Just you want to see that small opposing run, right? If I go to the 4 hour time frame, essentially the same thing, right? We form a swing point here inside of a key level, right? Swing point inside of a key level. So I want to trade a expansion candle, 10 a.m. It's kind of like the same thing. We kind of have a large, not really actually. We have a the same profile really, where Asia is the high of the day, right? Which is always what you want to see. And you also have these failure swings, right? So what phase of price do we get when we take out this high? We expand to this high. We always get a new phase of price when we expand to the high. What phase of price do we get? Right? Retracement. Do you see these small little candles here? These small little posing candles. No volume in them. And we're leaving all these failure swings here in the form of session highs. So this is like the ideal, either London reversal or New York reversal or whatever. You always want to trade towards these type of um, liquidity, right? It looks like a market maker model, right? You have like a consolidation up here, whatever phases, right? But when I look at the 10 a.m. open that I look to trade, where is that at? 10 a.m. Remember, we have that swing point, right? When I come into the session, what do we have as well? The CSD. We also form some internal SMT as well, right? We see the 7 o'clock low get taken on ES right here. So what would this be right here? This is my ideal. This is like the ideal scenario for expansion candle to be created from. It's basically when the low or high of the candle, the wick, is formed from manipulation, right? Or SMT, which is manipulation, right? So you kind of have to think of it like this in this scenario, right? It's manipulation forming the low of the candle, so you can feel comfortable trading away. It's like forming a protected swing um, within its own candle, and that happens a lot on the daily time frame. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be in my course as well. But what do we see here? What is my model basically? There's a couple variations, right? It's trading a 4-hour expansion candle from a low of day, right? That's check one. But another, when you're trading the fractal model, the low of the candle, it's either going to open up within a fractal model or it's going to create its low from a fractal model. So you see right here how the low, this is the 10 a.m. 30-minute, the first 30-minute candle in the 10 a.m. Hour, right? The low of the candle is created from a fractal model, right? So now I can assume that this is the 10 a.m. low. I can trade the body of the candle, right? If I drop down to the 3-minute, it gets a little ugly here for sure, right? Do we have a CSD? Yes, right? So you can technically enter there, but I waited just for a little bit more confirmation. Oh no, you can't enter there. Actually, that's cap. Um, it's just valid candle too, right? So I entered here, right here, right? Boom. Stop loss at this body low. I'm looking for these equal highs, right? Right. Very clean draw. Um, so now I can assume that this intra-candle CSD is the low of this 30-minute candle, and we can trade the body now. We also have this inverse fair value gap that I always like to see as well. I'm gonna turn these session indicators off. A bit ugly. So that was my trade. It got a little ugly, but eventually got there. Boom. Right. So that was that trade. Right. Just a classic buy day, London reversal, New York continuation there. And I know a lot of people were looking for shorts here, and I could possibly see it. Um, this is just kind of sussing me out, these equal highs. But if you look here, there's SMT at some point right here. I'm gonna get ES. Yeah, so y'all see this? This SMT here, right? Technically, this is fine. It looks pretty good, to be fair. But here's what the first 30-minute candle, you need to see speed. You need to see displacement, right? But when you look at this candle, especially on NQ, do you see that? That gives it away right there, right? No displacement to the downside. So all this was, this SMT is going to break. This is holding, right? And we're going to expand, right? Um, so yeah, sometimes like when you see a reversal like this, the displacement away is very key for validating that reversal. Because at this point we had 930 creating that, right? So if 930 is going to create this reversal, this also happened on Monday. I took a trade like this. Um, and what should we see, right? If I go to the 5-minute or something, first off, this needs to hold. You don't even want to see this gap. Really, you don't want to see some deep retracement. Okay, cool. We trade away, right? No valid proximal to get. But you see this? This needs to turn an opposing candle right here. But it doesn't do that. This is automatic invalidation right here. Like you can already basically start to flip your bias at this point. When you see this deep retracement like this, that's not how reversals really form. Um, so yeah, I just switched my bias to bullish because I was kind of iffy a little bit. But yeah, that once the drivers fail to do that, it's like really obvious at that point. But that was that day. And what else was there? In Q, did I trade this day? Maybe I traded YM. So let's get into YM here. On why I traded this short here. If you look at RTY, Correlated asset, we have a range high, range low. We have RTY trading into this high, and it's also opening up near this high. So this can be a reversal into expansion candle. Right, so when I look at YM, I'm always obviously going to trade YM just because it's weaker, right? I drop down to the lower time frame. How does this candle form? It's also important. It opens high first, has no relevant low in the marketplace. It's literally just a bunch of, again, like low resistance, right? If I go to a lower time frame, it's just a bunch of little candles, right? So if you want to trade this lower, right, the 2M candle created this SMT, right? And if you're going to trade to this low, you need to align yourself with expansion, right? So you're not going to trade the reversal inside of this candle because this candle doesn't support expansion, right? You're going to wait for the next candle, the next 4-hour candle. And I don't remember if I did trade this. Yeah, yeah. I traded the 30-minute here. It was actually the 15-minute, but I'm going to show you here. So this is 9:30, open right here. And at this point, we are already inside of a very uh, like relevant area for continuation, right? What we see here is expansion. And look at the way we retrace back in this range. It's very important the way we do this because this gives us like insight on the probability for continuation. You see this, all these little failure swings here. This is a retracement signature. What do we do after retracement? I expand, right? So all this is really expansion, retracement. When you want to trade expansion again, so when we want to trade expansion, retracement, expansion, you always want to trade away from protected high, which is what we have right here. You see this? Don't know if there's SMT, kind of forgot. Okay, this SMT up here, well, the correlated asset. So if this happened prior to 9:30, what do I expect 9:30 to do? And right, this is very consistent in the market. What you're gonna see is when we manipulate prior to a driver, the driver should just expand away, right? But I trade the 15-minute, 1 minute here personally, but I'm sure there's a 30-minute, 3-minute. So you see the 9:15 candle here. So if I want to see the driver expand away, what do I need to see? Right here's the driver right here. I just traded that pretty much. Right when I look at the 3-minute, I see all fair value gaps to the left closed over. So I'm expecting a very low resistance run into all these lows pretty much. Now if you want to use the 3-minute, let's see if there's a model here. Yeah, there was, right? You have this one as well. If you want to use that time pairing. But yeah, it was clean. And it ended up going pretty far, I believe. Yeah, right into all these into this standard deviation. So that was that day. Very clean, pretty obvious day, especially with the way this candle forms. Or this is also going to be in the course, right? If you want to try a bearish candle, especially a reversal candle, this is very key. It opens high first, right? Because we don't want to use any wasted movements in a candle. You don't want to go like this. If you want to try a bearish candle, you don't want it to go open low and then high. It's not going to do this. Like it's barely ever going to go open low, high, low. Like it's not going to do that. This is way you're gonna get a much more low resistance run like that. So yeah, I'm just aligning the wick. I'm assuming the wick is put in, right? And then I'm trading a 4-hour expansion candle away from that. Um, so that was pretty simple, right? So now if I go into the next day, one thing I noticed about this week, we have a Monday low put in. We can't expand away from this low, right? We tried to expand away. You see this is not expansion candle. This candle kind of expanded, right? And then we couldn't expand. Um, really past the previous week's high, right? You form that SMT, you can see that on RTY, right? So you have this low over here. You have these equal lows down here. So I'm just going to confirm with the profile. I don't even have to do too much guessing, right? So what do we see in the profile? What do we need to see? A small wick. That's what we see. What does this profile open up like? What do the phases of price look like, right? Expansion. Same thing we just saw on the 30-minute time frame. Look at this. Does this look like a reversal to you? This low in the market? No. right? Because reversals, what do? They expand away. Right? This is no sort of expansion whatsoever. So I'm going to trade to these lows, right? Expecting expansion, retracement, expansion with a key level, right? Fair value gap, right? And then what do I want to trade to get on side with expansion within an expansion candle on the 10 a.m., right? If I look here, delete all this stuff. This looks like consolidation, right? With this fair value gap here as well. Now, did I expect this crazy move here? No, right? But what is the high formed from, right? The high day, first off, has SMT, which is ideal. And then you also formed that candle 2 reversal, right? Forming the 10 a.m. high. See that? You can get involved on the fractal model here, 30-minute, 3-minute, the model that will be posted in the course, which would have been right here. It traded a little bit sooner, and we created an SMT inside of this gap on the 5-minute, right? Created an SMT inside this gap. So I'm assuming that's a breakaway gap. So I just entered on this opposing candle, and then yeah, I'm targeting I think Wednesday's low, so right here. Does that make sense? It chopped around for a while. This is kind of brutal to be honest. Like, look how close it got, and then just like I had to wait hours for this to play out. But low key just was not worth it for like one tick. But yeah, that's the same model, right? It's just basically 4 hour internal to external. Right? I'm just framing highs and lows of the day from 1 hour and up PD rays, and I'm just seeing if the daily profile supports that, right? So the way the daily candle forms is important. The way um, just the 1 hour, 4 hour signatures and price are important, right? This gives it away, right? This all these little lows in the market. Look at these equal lows here. You think the market's going to reverse from here? No. So that gives it away. This gives it away as well, right? See these small little opposing. The market's not going to break away from this necessarily. Generally, it's not going to do that, right? So stuff like that is really important. But the way this candle opens too, if you look on in Q, right, back to back days, this the way this candle opens gives it away, and also same thing here, right? They open low first, right? That's how a bullish candle formed, and then you take into account the way you know the market doesn't reverse from all these little this little slow price movement here, right? That's like a retracement. That's how I view it essentially. And then also we had drivers, right? Driver couldn't displace away from this SMT, right? So it's gonna break the market trading away from the low of the day, right? That's also a validation. So there's a lot of little stuff, but that's generally how I approach it there. Um, what other trades did I take recently? Um, oh yeah, I took this one. I'll show you guys this one. I thought it was a good trade. I didn't expect this reversal to be fair. I took one off right here. I honestly thought this was going to get hit up here. That was going to be a really nice trade if that got hit. This is what I was basically trading here. If I go to the 1 hour, this is that I assume this to be that kind of like delayed protraction profile. This was really nice in my opinion. Um, right, we expand or whatever or whatnot. Not really expansion, but kind of just consolidating right prior to this news event. And see this low today, this 1800. This is why I do not want to trade away from. So when we manipulate into that low, creating a new daily wick, this is basically that profile that I was talking to you guys about. I call it like intracandle manipulation, where the low of the candle is formed from manipulation. Then I can trade the body of the candle into objectives. That's kind of what I was framing off of here and just doing that with drivers, right? If you look here, we have 8:30 news. So when 8:30 manipulates, what do we expect the next drive to do, which is 9:30? I expect it to expand. That's what it does. If I look at the previous hour, what is the 6 a.m. candle's low form from? Right? A candle two closure. So as you see, we're just keeping it mechanical in that sense. And then I want to trade the next candle high, right? So 9:30. That's when you get that push. So if we draw out our candle two, there's the CSD. And then on the opening price of the third candle, you get that intra-candle CSD right here, right? So here's your entry right here. On that, I'm entering prior to 9:30, assuming that's going to expand to that high. Does that make sense? First TP there, and I was looking for these highs, honestly. Honestly thought it was going to get hit, but then just reversed. And then I switched to YM because it was the weakest indice out of all of them. So that's how I didn't even really necessarily assume what I wasn't even paying attention to YM until this happened. So once I saw the market's going to reverse today, I was like, okay, well, what's weaker? What's weakest? Okay, YM is. It's going to probably get the biggest move. So I just got inside with that. So you don't even have to guess. Like, especially with 10 a.m. a lot of times. 10 a.m. specifically, you don't have to guess. That's why like I get a lot of trades because I don't even have to guess, bro. Um, let me go over like what trade did I take? I took RB. I'm gonna show you guys. It was kind of slow. Never got to my target, but I'll show you guys still. Not on. Okay, here we go. All right. So basically, it's operating within a range, right, from low to high. Very ugly, by the way, like super ugly. But you can still navigate daily candles, like in particular. Like I don't know where the market's gonna go necessarily, but I don't care. I don't care about that. I care about short-term trading. Okay, I don't have to anticipate a lot. We take out this low here, which is the range low, right? And then we form SMT at that range low. So essentially, we expand this low, consolidate. Really, you see this little consolidation, and we manipulate. We kind of have to view it like this, and we expand away, right? That's a reversal signature, especially paired with SMT. So really, this is a CSD right here. So I'm opening up the day here, where the low today is right here. So what am I operating within? An expansion candle. See this? Again, what are we forming? A swing point in the market, and then the profile is supporting a expansion candle. So I don't, like I said, I don't have to guess, bro, because when I come into 10 a.m., what do I see here? I see my model. It's pretty simple. I see that we're already expanding away from the daily open. When I go to the 1 hour chart here, we already have that small wick, right? And then what do we have prior to 10 a.m.? A C2. This is what I mean when you're gonna open up a new candle within a fractal model, right? So see how this pairs so well, the 4 hour candles, right? This candle hit the key level, right? Internal, external, what's beyond that? These feather swings up here. So it's pretty simple, right? All I have to do is be on side of that expansion candle. I could trade this candle here, right? These candles higher, right? Go to the 5 minute, right? This is where you see the fractal model, right? It got really slow. It never got this high, unfortunately, but it was still a pretty good trade. See how simple that is, though? What others did I take? I don't remember here. I'll show you gold. So I actually wanted long. I actually took a L here, and I really thought we were gonna get here. If you look here, and I know there's SMT here, but I didn't think it was gonna hold, to be honest. Just because I really like this daily closure and everything. We have Monday opening low, and we're kind of trading back to the weekly open. Let me form this little reversal candle. So I'm kind of wanting longs into these equal highs, right? And if you look here, I really like the way news reacted as well. If you look here, you had that CSD, that candle two, daily candle two. And it's like that same profile where we leave away from the opening price, right? Which is 1800. We come back to the daily open. This generally holds. Like this is really nice. I love this profile. Where we're creating a new daily wick here. Um, Same thing on NQ, but everything reversed basically. It was weird. But here we have this. Like you could technically trade this probably. But I just wasn't awake at this, or I wasn't really interested in trading this reversal candle here. Kind of a large wick. So I wanted to wait for that next candle here, and you're gonna see 10 a.m. opened into a fractal model. Yep, I'm gonna show you guys. Do we have a swing point? So I want to trade the next candle higher, and we eventually did create SMT and stuff like that, which ultimately failed. And I'll show you the reversal. But I took this right here, and it came back. It took me out there. I will show you guys the reversal, which is interesting. I didn't really expect it. The daily profile doesn't really support it, so I wasn't really interested. Um, but I mean, same model again, bro. This would be like pattern trading it, in my opinion, but the model where you take out this high here, or you have SMT here, trading within a 4-hour expansion candle to the downside. Now it's a reversal candle, so the high must be formed from a fractal model. So you see a 30-minute fractal model here, right? Now maybe you can trade back into the range somewhere. Maybe these equal lows could be logical and whatnot. But at this point, you already have a reversal there, there. I don't know if we close over this. Looks like equal bodies or whatever. So if you close over this, you could just trade that, right? Kind of a large stop loss. So this is fine right here. It's like really clean delivery. Um, but eventually it gets to these lows, I think, or close to them. Silver has like a nice model. Yeah, it was not too bad though. Pretty clean. But I did not trade that because I just wasn't expecting that. But yeah, that was pretty decent there. But you see how I'm just showing the model necessarily like that. That's really all I'm showing you there. Um, okay, that was that's day. So I took a loss there, but I had that partial win on NQ, the very nice win on YM here, and then um, RB was a pretty nice win. Just didn't get there at a close before top step rolls and whatever. Um, but that's pretty much it. That's my. I just went over like half the week, but let's go over some questions now at this point. Y'all can go ahead and start putting in some questions here. Um, okay, so you mentioned you scanned through the indices. Okay, so yeah, my kind of daily routine, what I'm looking for. I only trade like a couple of profiles, right? So I'm looking at the daily, looking for draws. That's all I'm looking for, right? Is draws and signatures that support that. So if I have a draw up here, this can be an hourly draw or 4-hour draw, whatever, right? Daily draw. I'm looking for price movements that like consolidate after expansion or like retrace, leaving failure swings. So what I'm doing here is I have a first off a continuation signature where the market's not going to reverse, not likely to reverse from failure swings, like low resistance signatures, right? And then once we manipulate, I now have a intermediate term time frame draw to the hourly time frame or something aligned with a higher time frame draw. That's what you want. You don't necessarily want to be trading this. Now it can work, but let's say I want to be involved in here right before we take out this high. Now anything between here and here is a little bit um riskier, right? Because you don't know we can retrace at any time. Um, so that's kind of how we look at it. I'm looking at really assets that haven't even expanded yet, that are really like formed a relevant higher low in the market, where New York hasn't yet expanded. When I look here, or at least there's still a draw or something. When I look here, we have somewhat expanded yet. We have somewhat expanded, but we have already reaccumulated, right, from this 4-hour gap. So what do I have? I have a higher time frame draw here, aligned with the intermediate time frame draw. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get in before we even take out this high, ideally. Right? These are pretty close proximity, honestly, but that's kind of how I view it. If I go in like YM or something, and the daily candle has to support it ideally. You said the daily candle supports this expansion into this high, and also the 4-hour. I'm waiting for the 4-hour to also expand. So if I come to the market at around 8 o'clock, I see that we're inside of this candle. If I want to be bullish, I'm not going to trade within this time window. So 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm not gonna trade within that time window because this candle doesn't support expansion. I have to wait for 10 a.m. Then I can trade the expansion, right? If I go to like YM, if I want to trade to lows or whatever, because remember we had that previous day SMT, or I'm looking at the signatures and price. So yes, this aligns, right? We have a 4-hour, 1-hour key level that the higher that is being created in. The signature supports it, right? It's kind of like consolidation or retracement. Um, does the daily candle support it? Yes, small wick. I'm trading a 4-hour small wick in that same direction, and also like a 30-minute or hourly small wick in that direction. This small wick right here, I'm just aligning expansion candles toward the draw into these equal lows down here. So it's pretty simple. And all this profile would be, you can look at it as I'm seeing this as a low today. It's absolutely irrelevant. It's like 1800. Yeah, I'm just trading back to like 1800. It's just profiling, right? If I want to be bearish, and I see the low today is irrelevant, then I'm going to trade that low day in line with my higher time frame draw. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of that's really it, right? If I go into the market here, I traded this day as well. I see that right. We have a CSD already on the hourly time frame, or whatnot. We have a reversal. A high day candidate. It's like London. So what should New York do? Expand, right? When I look at how what happened prior to this, we haven't expanded yet. Right? Where's the expansion, right? There's literally no body in this candle. So I expect New York to create the body of that candle. That's kind of what I'm looking for. If I open up the charts and we've already expanded, it's not interesting necessarily. So I can expect 930 to create this body, right? That's what I created there, right? Um, so I'm just looking at what the previous days really did. Or not previous days. Previous sessions did. I'm trying to show you an example of I just wouldn't trade. Um, this is pretty uninteresting to me, honestly. Even though we got up here, did I trade this? I actually traded that. I'm actually capping. What did I? Let me show you like an obvious example. I just would not trade. Oh, here's a really good. Like this is super easy. Like see the draw's already taken. 10 a.m. is the next candle open. It's irrelevant. Like the daily candle's already finished. It's already expanded. Like what else is there to catch? So this is a day that I would skip. Um, another one. This is a really easy day to skip. Like these are super obvious ones though. Like the daily is already expanded, so just if you're gonna use my 10 a.m. model, then it's like not relevant at all to be trading that. Same thing here, probably. Like yeah, this draw here, but it's already taken. No, I know it expands away. Maybe you catch something there, but like personally, not me. No, I'm not taking that. Um, here as well. Like, what is there? If you're gonna trade this low, like maybe, but like it's super hard. This is how you take L's right here, in my opinion. Like you want to get in like up here somewhere around the opening prices of the daily candle. This is why I like New York reversal so much. If you look at both these days, I traded this day here on like ES or something. This is like absolutely fire right here. You see the low today is created from manipulation, right? This is what I look to trade, right? Because At this point, if I'm trading for manipulation, I'm trading around the opening price or under the opening price of the daily candle. This is when you get the best moves right here, right? Because you're entering directly after manipulation. That's when you get the best expansion. Here as well, here's manipulation. You have SMT here. I already remember. So these trades right here are like textbook examples of my model, right? You're waiting for expansion candles. You're not going to trade within this candle, right? It's not an expansion candle. You wait for 10 a.m. expansion. Here you can trade within the 6 a.m. candle because it has a small wick. And you can trade a 10 a.m. continuation right here. If you look, we're going to use drivers. You have 8:30 red folder news. Create the manipulation. So what should 9:30 do? Expand. Pretty simple, right? I traded that day. Um, yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like a really simple process. When I look at these what happened the previous session, they didn't do anything, right? Is this going to be the high day? Absolutely not. It's just 1800. So I'm going to trade towards it. I can just get biased on profiles alone a lot of times. Again, over here, 1800 is the high of the day. It's irrelevant. I'm going to trade towards that. You know what I'm saying? So profiles alone can give you a ton of bias. Um, but yeah, I'm just looking at, what is the cleanest profile for the day and whatnot. Profile is like a big part of my trading. Um, yeah, I went over those soup, um, the trades that it took. It's the Freyland GRT. Sorry, can you mention again what is C2 in this? So there is no like valid C2, but it's a swing point. So you know, every reversal in the market forms a swing point, whether it's a valid C2 that we um, deem valid or not. A swing point is just a three candle formation. If I show you here. So like I said, this candle here, very large opposing run, right? This is the daily open. Not necessarily something we want to trade, right? Um, but you can trade it as a like intermediate time frame model where it's just internal to external. I don't care if it's not a daily expansion candle necessarily. I just have an easy target here, right? 1800. That's all I care about. I don't care how the daily closes, right? That doesn't make me money. I don't care how it closes. I don't care about predicting it. I just want to go here, right? So when you form a swing point and it's 6 a.m. candle, right, has drivers within it that can expand price. Well, if we're going to reverse from a swing point and the first three candles then or the first two candles in the swing point did not reverse or expand, then it's like forcing candle 4 to expand pretty much, especially with drivers. And so when 930 expands away from an assumed low of day, that's generally a good sign that you want to see. So that's what I traded there. All right, we have this continuous signature closing below all this inversion. We're getting supported by that. Um, like I said, we can't really use CSD, like kind of irrelevant there. But that's what I traded there. Um, just a fractal model inside of a expansion candle, really. That's it. Let me try to find you an example of something that I took on CL with that logic there. I can find it, bro. Oh, it might have been here. I don't remember. But see how this is a swing point? You can actually see it back to back here. You have a swing point here and a swing point here. See that it didn't expand in this candle, didn't expand in this candle. So it's like if it's gonna be a reversal, then the next candle needs to expand, pretty much. That's what you see. So this candle expand, candle 4, and then this candle also expanded here. That kind of makes sense. But I'm trying to think of what. Oh, it might have been right here, maybe. Right, you have a swing point here. This candle didn't really expand, and then this one did. Um, but yeah, gotta find it. Oh, here it was, bro. This is absolutely it right here. This is a really clean example too. Right, so the daily candle opens high first, takes out this high over here, then also forms a swing point. So if I want to trade a New York or a continuation in New York, And this is ideally what you want to see. Again, you don't want, if you don't want to trade near continuation, you do not want London to expand or any expansion prior to that. So you see this body is still small, right? I can expect New York to expand into like maybe these lows, whatever, or like 2R, whatever you want. I see the reversal already has occurred, right? We already have the CST, you have a propulsion block. So I already expect the 10 a.m. high to be formed within this propulsion block. And then you have my model here in a minute. So if I look prior to the opening price, do I have a valid um, feature track model? No, right? Because we have a swing point here, we have a candle 4. We don't trade candle 5. So I have to basically wait for the high of the candle to be created from a fractal model, which is what we see right here. And that's just testing this order block, right? So if I want to get inside with that, right, I have to wait for a valid entry, which is right here, right? And then we can trade the expansion candle inside of the 10 a.m., right? Right. You see how we're entering around the opening price? You see expand there. That makes sense? About kind of like swing points, you can view them in a sense. But that's if within that swing point there's like a valid reversal for the day. So on the 4 hour, it may not look like a strong swing point, but on a lower time frame, you might have an hourly CSD or something, you know? And here was just the way the daily candle formed, really. It's opening low first, the driver expanding away from here. So it's forced to go there, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just internal to external too, as well. When SMT, um, when is SMT confirmed for you from a PA perspective, for example? Is it with a candle closure? Yeah, it's a CSD. And within reversal points of the like high and low of the day. So it's like profiling. If I look here on YM, like we're already in a key level, right? So when I see an SMT side of here, this is right here, let me expand away from that. Now I have SMT at the high of the day. That's something you want to see. And then I'm having SMT in the distribution phases here as well, which is also what you want to see. It's another way to use SMT as well. When you have a higher time from SMT, you want to see a lower time from SMT. So here we had this SMT here. I traded this day with that logic, basically. Right. So we in the same day we created this SMT, but it's confirmed by a lower time from SMT. And again, you can just simplify this and be like, here's your key level, right? Fair value gap, SMT with the external high up there. And then you have this fractal model that I traded here, right? That formed the high of, or this is technically not, this is like a 6 a.m. expansion candle actually, right? So I traded within this expansion candle there, which formed the high of that candle. Do you flip through all time frames to determine which pair fits? Not really. I'm just like looking at um 4 hour key levels, hourly key levels. I'm just looking at the profile, and you can't look at a profile with a certain time frame. It's like pretty. I can look. I can see a profile through the 30-minute, hourly, 50-minute. No, it doesn't really matter. I'll also look at the way the daily candle formed. That's also a big one. When using CT4 on a lower time frame, do you find yourself defining opposing candles more like AM? I think they define it the same way, no? Like bulky candles trading into key levels. I don't even know if AM actually requires a lower time from key level to get. I don't think it does. So more like T trades probably, but not. I'm not strict to it. So like my trade on YM, I forgot when, but it did not hit a key level. It was like this 1 minute. What day was it? Oh, it was over here. You see how this CSD here did not hit a key level, technically? I'm just using the logic of 930, right? Couldn't really displace away from, it couldn't reverse higher, right? And it shouldn't reverse higher because there's a bunch of feather swings down here. When I see 930 just make an opposing run to the draw and then close back lower, I'm just trying to get onside with that really. I see this opposing candle, but really you could have taken this one or something, but it doesn't really matter to be honest. Yeah. I think there's like a 3 minute later on there somewhere. Yeah, like eventually. And this doesn't hit a key level either, technically. Yeah, there's not really a key level here. So I guess I don't know. I'm not really strict with it to be honest. Really up to you though. Your audio keeps dropping. Dude, mine kept doing that too. When I was watching TV like a couple weeks ago. It was so annoying. I don't know how I fixed it, but like a glitch, man. When we talk about open low and then go towards daily open, couldn't during the New York game session could just retrace and just move lower. You saying could it do that? Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could do that. So that's like AM's logic of price, basically like this price trading away too far from the daily open. So something like this. Then we open up New York here. Yeah, like this is generally like it doesn't make sense, but if inside of like a bearish trend, that's where this is applicable. Where it's like there's a draw down here or something, and then we trade too far from the daily open. It doesn't make sense to go all the way up here. To could continue that New York expansion to these lows. This is a bit different where like we're already bullish and let's say we open up like right here and we drift lower into like a key level and it just continues, right? But it doesn't support the daily candle doesn't support price going all the way up here. But it does you can still trade it back to here, technically, right? So that's kind of the difference there. Do you prefer to trade the weaker asset? Yeah. When bearish? Yes, do. Garrett Garrett has a winner ICT trend. Fred and AQ at 8:30 before your entry. Could you go through your thoughts on that 8:30 candle? Did those wicks mean anything to you? Yeah, they did. I actually thought bullish. This is a profile that absolutely love. Um, and I see it work a lot. Ignore this dog, by the way. Hold on. Is there S&P down here? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, there is. Because the previous day doesn't really mean much. This previous day, like I'm trying to find it to in about. Hey, sorry, bro, this dog. So you have this S&P here. This invalidation level, this opposing candle. So what I'm really just looking at here is how the previous, do we have a established high day? Do you have a established low day? No, right? Because these are just like failure swings, really. There's no CSD or nothing like that. When I look at the low of the day, it's just 1800 low. So it's definitely not relevant. And then you have all these failure swings down here. So when price comes back to this and then sweeps out all these lows, then closes back above here, this to me is like a very relevant low of the day now, right? It's just creating a new daily wick. This is a profile you're gonna see work a lot. It just didn't work today or yesterday. So you see here, news drops and we manipulate, right? So if this is a manipulation, what should we do after that? We should expand, right? Within that next time interval, which is 9:30. And this is what we do, right? I actually traded this. So we have a valid fractal model here. So if I want to trade expansion into this high, all I need to see is a CSD. You have your first opposing candle in C2. And then you validate this opposing candle that's in C2 and C3. So you can trade that there. That's what I traded right here, very simply. I took my first partial there. I personally put my stop loss right there, but that's how I did that. Frame that. And then just reversed, came back to my break even, which is it's all right. But yeah, I thought we were gonna get hit all-time highs, to be honest, or whatever this is over here. Like pretty clean. But once it's all reversed, I just switched to YM because YM is a lot weaker, and I could trade that as well, right? Because that trade was before 10 a.m. This is the 10 a.m. reversal, so it's like pretty easy to get on side with that. Um, yeah, but yeah, that's a profile that you see a lot. It was also on um, what was it, bro? It was on gold or silver, and it failed too. Market's just reversed yesterday. I don't know if that's because of Trump or what, dude. You use PSPs, kinda, yeah, but we're not gonna get into that really. Not really. It's like a quarterly theory type. It's like a type of divergence. Pretty freaking good too. The 6 a.m. candle traded lower on YM than previous 4-hour candle. I can easily get stuck with a bullish bias on 10 a.m. candle. How can I not get stuck? So what was this? 6 a.m. candle traded lower on YM than the previous 4-hour candle. I don't know what example you're talking about. Mm, this one, maybe? Wait. I'm not sure which one you're talking about there. This Friday's PA, okay. Oh, so you think that this is a bullish bias because 6 a.m.? Well, did 6 a.m. trade into anything relevant? Right, no, right? There's also like equal lows on here. So what's the low today? You have to ask yourself, what is the low today? It's just 1800 low. Is that a key time or anything? Did price really break away from this? No, right? We haven't really done anything, right? So when I see that 8:30 and 9:30 didn't reverse price at the highs, then the only key time, and it must reverse at 10 a.m. right into these lows, pretty much. Like I'm never gonna trade away from this, like ever, 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 ever. See these like failure swing stuff? Because this is like a continuation signature. Right? We have expansion over here, then we get retracement, right, which is a continuation signature, which means price is going to expand again. Because price doesn't reverse from failure swings; they target failure swings. Makes sense, kind of. Maybe you saw this as a manipulation, maybe, right? Um, but maybe you could have seen that, but when we did this, I mean, it's pretty obvious. But I don't have to anticipate that necessarily. Like, because I'm not catching the very reversal up here, I'm waiting for the candle to close. Once the candle closes, like, okay, well, it's obvious reversal. I can just trade that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of makes sense. And if you look at the previous day's context, it's a reversal candle. Look what I see. Like, what you see here, like, you just see a bunch of lows, right? With the reversal up here with SMT, I'm going to lean short, especially just seeing just the expansion away from that SMT. Right? Look at all these fair swings. I already drew them up, but yeah, these fair swings here. And then you see, like, look at this slow movement here. This is what really throws me off. Like this right here, this is like consolidation, right? So I want to trade to these lows pretty much. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into profiling, really, kind of. It's all simple though, relatively. Got it. So it's not TTFM, but IRL, ERL. Edit, ignore this. ERL is like a model. Then you can use TJ Prox model to get on side with that. When is your lesson coming out? Probably like a week or something, hopefully. You please elaborate on your own model. The difference. So it's not really different. It's not different than ETH Rocket model because maybe my approach is for like framing, but I still use TJ's Rocket model. It's just trading within daily profiles. I don't scalp or anything because you can scalp you know, back and forth and all that. I don't do that. I'm really just trying to frame fractal models away from the high of the day. So either at the high of the day or away, you know what I'm saying? Towards objectives, really. So it's like think of like TJ fractal model and the expansion model. Like, they just trade expansions. That's how I'm kind of trading the fractal model, you know, inside of expansion candles on the 4 hour and the daily. I'm just aligning expansion candles. So I'm aligning the daily candle into a direction, the 4 hour candle into a direction, and the 30-minute or the 1 hour. I do trade the 50-minute occasionally, but definitely trade the 1 hour, 30-minute way more. Is the manipulation acceptable if it manipulates both sides like that? Yeah, for sure. Because if it's a manipulation or, you know, it's not aligned with the draw, it's kind of irrelevant. If it was Trump's tariff. Oh, okay. For your shirt, yes, just blown pretty spark, Oh, you're talking about that. Thanks for going through the A3 logic. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll try to see what other trades I took this week. Uh, what else did I take? I think I took on NQ. I took a loss. Um, yeah, it was this. It was like Monday. Definitely low probable trading, but just for this fat gap. But I think people took this uh, as well. So it's my model, right? Where we see the fractal model, we see manipulation at the assumed high of the day. So I'm like, maybe we can get to these equal lows or these lows on here. So I gave this a shot. So all I need to with this scenario, all I need to happen is this. I just need to see 10 a.m. close below this. Okay, boom. You can trade that right there into these lows or whatever. Right? You can take 2R or whatever, but it came back. As you see. This was another thing. I don't know if it's like an announcement, but this was a crazy candle. What the heck, bro? That was absolutely wild. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, and then it expanded. But yeah, after that happened, I was just like, okay, I'm done for the day for that asset. I don't know what did I trade this day. I know I took some other type of dub. Oh, it was silver. I'll go over that. Was it silver? Yeah, it was. Maybe it was the 30-minute. No, it was this. I'll have to look on Twitter or something. Was it this? No, it wasn't that. It had to have been like 30-minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was right here. Yep, yep, yep. This is it. So this is that same logic, right? Large wick. What am I gonna target? Not gonna target way up here, right? Because the profile doesn't support it. Look at this huge wick, absolutely massive wick. So I'm gonna target the high of today, which is 1800. One of the easiest things you can do is target 1800. And you see how the opposing run starts early in the day, so it has enough time in the day to get back up here. The low of the day is also low or early in the day, so it has enough time, right? And I can't refer to a CSD here, so I'm going to use right inverse fair value gaps, pretty much. And then here I have a fractal model inside of a 4 hour expansion candle, right? You see how easy that is? If you wanted to trade, let me see. Yeah, here's the key level as well, by the way. Ideal swing formation as well. So at this point, I think gold was trading it to these highs. It was on its way. Yeah, to see all these highs up here. I don't know if there's a model here. There's like a 15-minute model, I believe. It was right here. Yeah, it was like right there. You took that right there. Boom, boom. into the this might have been all-time highs. I don't actually know. To that or something. Take like two cons and partial out. I think my friend took this actually. Take partial first at 2R or something. Take one off there. Move to break even or whatever. I think it went up there. So at the time it was trading towards here. So it's like if gold's gonna get here, then I don't think silver's gonna get there, but I could see it going to the current day's high. So that's what I TP'd at and eventually got there. So either or, you could take that both within expansion candles in the 4-hour time frame. And yeah, this can be in a course how to trade, um, kind of how like to trade the large wick, right? Pretty specific on how this forms. Um, what else did I take? Let me see my Twitter, bro. Oh, I think I took this. I took back-to-back silver days actually. This was like, it was all right, bro. I have to remember. So if you look at the previous day here, you see that reversal candle. And then we also had some like sort of SMT right with this 10 a.m. low like that. It would just be absolutely perfect if this here took this low out. If there's S&P here, that would have been really clean. Um, so I don't see this as like super clean, super clean. But as you see, we are inside of a 4-hour expansion candle, and the low is created from a reversal candle here. I don't know if this is the trade that I took or something later on. It was like 30-minute or something. I think it was right here. I think I got this ideal swing formation on a 30-minute. We did have like internal SMT. That's the only reason why I took it. We got this. So the low of the candle, the 6-hour candle, we had SMT there. That's the only reason I took this, I think. And I think I took it right here or something. I don't remember. Yeah, like something like right here. Or off that. I don't actually remember. Something like this. Either one of these order blocks is cool. I think it might have been this one. I don't really remember. Right into I really like the way this profile formed. That's the reason. Right. Asia highs, it's just very literally looks like a market mirror model. It's just consolidations in the form of session highs and the previous high. So if you look at the previous day's candle, just with the way this weekly candle is forming in current time of expansion, right? And you have this reversal candle on a Monday, so open low first on the weekly candle into a key level. I'm just expecting these highs to get taken really. So I'm trading within a 4-hour expansion candle. The low of the 4-hour candle is just created with SMT there, as you see here. Um, did I trade gold or not? I don't remember if I traded gold or silver. I'm not gonna lie. I think I traded silver because there's no fractal model here, right? So there's a bunch of failure swings. But yeah, not like that clean, but the profile is like super clean in my opinion. Um, what else did I take? That's pretty much it. Let me see if there's any more questions. What's the best about learn profiles? I think I have like the second stream I have on WAP goes over profiles. Just curious on your approach. Do you scan assets the night? Um, Rarely, bro. Not gonna lie. When I come to like New York session at like 8 o'clock, especially if there's a driver, like 8:30 news, I'm definitely gonna be there. Um, and I have all the information that I need really, and the profiles or the driver is gonna validate that. We're just gonna pair like a valid manipulation. So if there's like no valid high or low of the day or something, then I want the driver to rate that. I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna trade it. I'm gonna wait for some relevant level to get. That's gonna be in the course. There's very specific things I look for. It's gonna be in the course. I can explain it better. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys, as well. It's been above an hour, but that's pretty much my week. Just wanted to cover some, you know, um, trades I took with the model. But yeah, we're still working on the course, and You basically just look for manipulation that lines up with your daily flow. Yeah, like that's the ideal profile. Let me actually show you guys. Let me share my screen real quick. Let me just show you real quick. Or I can post in the chat actually. I have yeah, here it is. Hold on. Let me just post in the chat for you guys. Um this is my ideal scenario for an open high low close candle. It can be daily or 4 hour. This is my ideal. And you when you pair this with drivers and stuff, it's really good. But that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good weekend. Probably ended there. And yeah, y'all have a good one. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily no manipulation of trade. Think of it like this, right? It can be a classic buy or sell day, right? Or a London reversal, right? You know how AM does it? Just think of it like that, right? You need a 30-minute CAC to validate a lower high of the day. And if you're going to trade away from that lower high of the day, you need to be within a 4-hour expansion candle. That's it. That's pretty much it. That's one way to look at it. The other way is like 4-hour key levels, but that's a whole nother thing. Um, if I can show you guys, hold on, let me maybe show you guys a little bit part of the course real quick. Hold on, because I just want to show you real quick. This is not even done yet, but hold on, let me just get this on my screen real quick, and then I'll share this screen. Oh, it's loading. There's two ways I profile. It's off the 4-hour time frame, um, and then just regular like 1 hour and stuff like that. But I'll give you like a little sneak peek of this real quick. All right, let me share my screen. All right, here it is. All right, can y'all see the screen right here? Y'all can, right? Yeah. Okay. So look here. So it's going to be from 4-hour key levels. This is one way to do it. This is probably the easiest way, where you have Asia high of the day or something. You have a 4-hour key level, and you're trading a 4-hour expansion candle away from that. Okay, calm down, bro. Here's an order block version. Here's a swing low version, like a 4-hour swing low. Um, and this would be uh, New York continuation, where London puts a low today in, and you're just trading away from. So it's either like London there's like multiple reversal formations where it doesn't actually matter how this candle closes necessarily, and that's what's different that you guys are gonna learn. Um, like here, I'll actually show you an example of this. Here, you don't form a reversal inside of 2 a.m., but we expand in 6 a.m. I'll actually show you an example of that. Can you even see my screen? Hold on, what is it showing right now? Okay, yeah, yeah. Look here. I framed this exact thing on RB. It's not about how this candle closes necessarily. Dude, these dogs. You see this candle doesn't close like this? I don't actually care. I just care that it hits a key level, pretty much, right? But within this candle, you're gonna have a fractal model. You see, with this candle, like on the 4-hour, you don't have a reversal, but on the 1 hour, you do, right? Hold on, let me let these dogs out, bro. Right? So, yeah. Um, if I look here, if I go to this would be the 6 a.m. version. So it's like an if-then process, like, right? Where if 6 a.m. puts a low of the day in, then I won't expect 10 a.m. to expand. If London puts a low of the day in, then I expect 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. to expand if the draw is still available, right? Here, again, New York reversal, 6 a.m. There's two type of New York reversals. It's 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Ideally, 6 a.m. reverses. And this is, what was this? New York reversal? Yeah. New York reversal is always going to sweep out 2 a.m.'s low. I got to fix this. Like I said, it's not even done. I don't even know if it's going to look like this, but if I show you like a 2 a.m. reversal here, or sorry, a 6 a.m. reversal, just in the form of candles. So here is a New York reversal that's 6 a.m. So what does 10 a.m. do? Expand. If I show you that here, it would look like this, or it's like this basically, right? 6 a.m. puts in reversal, 10 a.m. expands. That's what you see here. Um, this is another version. This is the same thing I just showed the previous day. What you just saw here, 6 a.m. reversal, 10 a.m. continuation. I'm trying to show you an example of a 10 a.m. reversal. I guess I could show you would be right here. Right, 6 a.m. does not put in the reversal. The previous candle closes a expansion candle, so you form a reversal at the high. You see how this is a reversal into expansion, 10 a.m. reversal? That would be over here, right? Where we're just framing reversal off that candle's high, right? So it's like all these examples. So what is it? It's a fair value gap. So you see this fair value gap right here? Okay, fair value gap. It closes the expansion candle. Reversal off that candle's high, pretty much, right? The high of the candle is formed from fractal model always, if it's a reversal. Over here, this is kind of like this. It's a reversal of the high, the 2 a.m. reversal off of a high, and then 6 a.m. just expands without taking out this high. It doesn't actually have to take out the high necessarily. I traded this as well, but there's SMT here, so you kind of have to view it like there is technically. You have to view it like this pretty much. There's SMT, and that would look something like this technically. Like where is it at? 2 a.m. would look kind of like this pretty much, where like this 2 a.m. candle is not a reversal candle, but since there's SMT there, it'll just expand. And it doesn't even have to take, even if there is no SMT, it doesn't have to do that. Um, Another example. Oh, here's a really good example of the 2 a.m. reversal. It's actually a really good example. Holy, oh damn! So this is here where the 2200 candle hits a key level or whatever. It has to. If you're gonna trade a London, I don't trade London, but I'm gonna give you guys how to trade it. You have to trade within a 4-hour expansion candle. And do you see the high of the day is just ages session? This is what you want to see. You want to see, take out that 2200 candle with a small wick and expand. That's what you see here, pretty much, right? 2200 candle, you sweep out that low. If I look at the low of this candle, probably formed from a fractal model, right? It is. See the 22, this 2 a.m. candle formed from a fractal model. So then you can just get on side with that pretty easily, right? With the fractal model here. So this is a valid L right here. Valid L, technically. Well, never mind. This didn't hit a key level actually. These opposing candles didn't hit a key level, so you have to wait for this sweep. But if you did take that, it's cool, whatever. Let's take this one. This is a really clean one. Right into these highs. Does that make sense? Um, but yeah, it'll be in the course. It'll be done. I just want to get it structured like really nicely, but yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there probably. I just want to show you guys a little bit of that. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, man. You have a good one.